you need in an igloo? Since you live in an igloo, fridges are what you need. They are essential in an igloo and they are a must-have. So what are fridges? Fridges preserve food. In other words, they prolong the life of food. They prevent it from rotting or spoiling. They keep it fresh. They keep the nutrients locked in so they can be beneficial towards you. Fridges, since you need food to survive, in order to live, because without food, we are going to die. So if we have food, we need to have a place to store it. One of those places is a fridge. So, for example, in such a harsh environment such as yours, such as Alaska, you need to think wise to survive. So one way would to, in advance, store a lot of food, and then, get a lot of food, then keep it so that in case there is such a storm or blizzard, you have food that will last you. So, how can you store the food? You need a fridge, because as time goes by, food will spoil. They do not last forever, they will spoil in time. So you decide on in advance for your benefits. You get lots of food you need to store, and then you can store them and you can keep them, and you won't starve because you have lots of food that will last you for the week or so. Food is essential. We all need it to survive, of course. So since food is essential, we need to store it so we can keep it edible so we will not starve. So we use fridges to keep our food fresh. Fridges are one of the many appliances used in preserving food all around the world. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Noel of Cabrera, and I am here to offer you a freezer. A freezer for you Alaskan igloo dwellers will be very useful. Our freezer can be used for preserving food. When you need food, right now, I know that you're currently using ice, salt, and others such as spices to preserve your food. With our freezer, you can preserve food much easier, because when you gather ice for preserving your food, it takes such a longer time to harvest, to get ice, and finding salt shall also be hard. Using our freezer will help you preserve your food much easier. Also, a freezer can be used to help you survive if there are dangers such as polar bears, wolves, and tigers as such. Because with a freezer, if there are pending dangers, you can hide inside the freezer to survive. And if you want to bury somebody, you can use a freezer to preserve the body of a loved one so that the body will not rot, and you can wait enough time to ask for help for people to bury the body of your loved one. So when they bury it, it will not decompose yet. Our freezer is also useful for making ice cones. When gathering water, we can actually use our freezer to make such stuff and make those materials we have for food be clean. Because when we use ice from the soil like that and snow, we might not know that maybe a polar bear, a wolf, or any other creature might have pooped there, stepped there, which can cause the ice there to be dirty. So if we freeze other stuff in our freezer, it will be much cleaner. An example of a situation: a polar bear entered your igloo and you don't know where to hide. You can go inside your freezer and hide inside there, and maybe put a hole inside it. Once there, you can observe the polar bear if he or she will enter your igloo. And since polar bears do not have hands, they have paws, they cannot open your igloo. They cannot open your freezer because they have no hands. And evidence of such that polar bears do not have hands is that when we kill a polar bear and observe their hands, you can see they have paws. And also, evidences that freezers are used for preserving food is in our house, in the nature of, such as the Philippines, we also use freezers to preserve food, such as our meat and fish, to preserve it. And in stated in movies, we can use freezers to preserve, because when a body is frozen, the body is preserved, such as other movies have shown. So we can wait for help.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. I'm selling a fridge that fits for your igloo right there. You won't need any large spaces because it's not that big. And you can choose for about 3 colors: black, white, or gray. It's very affordable, so you won't have to worry about paying much. Order now and you'll get a 20% discount. Plus, I will include 1 free basket of canned goods. One reason why I'm selling this fridge, and it's good for you, and it's very useful because it's good for your health, because you'll be able to eat fresh food instead of frozen or rotten food. Another, you won't have the hard time finding your food because this fridge is easily recognizable. For example, you come home one day from fishing and you don't have a place to store your fish. If you buy our fridge, you'll have a proper place to store them. It will take longer time until your fish will grow rotten. Therefore, you'll be able to eat healthier. Same also for the fruits and vegetables. Some of the ice in Alaska easily melt, so if you store your food under the ice, it might get lost. These are some of my examples, and I can prove to you that these are true. One person bought the fridge and he stored his fishes inside it. It took a few weeks until the fish rotted, so he didn't have a problem going back to the frozen lake, saving his energy. On the other hand, one person didn't buy the fridge because he thought storing it in the ice was better. One day, there was a very strong heat wave that caused the melting of ice, even very thick ice. Since the guy's supply of food was stored underneath the ice, he had no more food. He wasn't able to fish because the lake was not frozen anymore, and the fish wouldn't go near the shore. He had nothing to eat, so he starved himself to death. It's your choice whether you want to believe that my story was true or not, but I assure you, sir or ma'am, buying this fridge could make your life easier, healthier, and better.
Hello, Alaskans! So, you guys are probably thinking, okay, I just got some fish, I want to eat it for another day, but I don't want to eat it today. So this is where our product comes in. We have a freezer. A freezer is a box. You put some food in it. It has a freezing temperature, so that way your food will stay fresh the day you will eat it, just as fresh as the day you got it. So, yeah. The freezer will help you preserve your food. It will keep things from going bad, and it also keep things from melting. So that way your food will be preserved longer and will be rotten less. So as we all know, Alaska is a very, very, very cold state of the U.S. Sometimes though, its very cold temperatures cannot preserve the food that you want to have. That's why you have a freezer. Freezers have even colder temperatures, so that's why you can keep your food fresh. So sometimes you guys would use ice, but the ice would melt. That's why you have a freezer, because freezers have consistent temperatures and it will stay in that temperature the whole way until you want to take out the food and eat it. For example, an igloo dweller in Alaska would usually have fish to eat. You guys go fishing a lot. So fish can go bad easier than other meats like pork and beef. So to keep your fish from going bad fast, you have a freezer, so it will preserve and it will stay fresh. That is all, so we hope you like our product and buy it.
Hello Alaskans that live in an igloo. Today, I'm going to sell you our greatest product yet, the fridge. The fridge is effective because it can preserve your food, prevent your food from spoiling due to the other terms of nature. And of course, food is the one you eat. But our fridge is different. You'll more likely survive in a fridge than in a freezer, because the freezer is colder. In short, freezers freeze. The food you get from hunting or scavenging needs a place to stay. Of course, they're dead, unless you want them alive, or you want them to be stored. The food you stored will last longer for about 2 weeks longer than the ones you left outside. The ones you left outside. Besides, you're not the only one who scavenges out there that will get the food that others caught and left them outside. For example, you just got back from hunting and you don't have a fridge to place the food you got from hunting. Of course, hunting. You cooked half of your food, but the other half was spoiled, was scavenged, or eaten raw. So you need a fridge to make them last longer. For our evidence, during snowstorms, most of the animals that can be hunted will die. Of course, of the cold. Which is freezing cold. People can survive that cold, that's why we wear jackets. But I'm not wearing one, but I have an undershirt, which is very thick. But before the snowstorm, hunting is very easy. Animals just pop out their heads and shoot an arrow and they're dead. And they're dead. And they can be seen almost anywhere. During easy seasons, you can hunt and store the food in your own fridge, which is very small, or you can most likely buy them in very big sizes. And you can hunt and store food in your own fridge, and will not get a hard time hunting during the cold because you have your stored food in your own fridge, which is, by the way, small and can be bought in very large sizes. Thank you for listening to my story about the fridge, but I wish you'll buy our product, my product. Thank you.
Hello, Alaskan Igloo. Hello, Alaskan igloo dwellers. Survival is necessary to all of us. That's why I'm here to sell our product, the freezer. Freezer keeps your food frozen for days. Foods like meat and fish will be fresh for a long time. Freezer may be small and big, and it could also become handy. It is more beneficial for you because it makes your food tastier, yummier, and most especially fresh to eat. Also, if you hunt for food, for example, with the use of fishing rod to catch fish, they can easily put it right away in the freezer for it to be fresh for a long time. Having also freezer to bring for travel, it will make the food not melt right away. That's why your food will be safe for days. Having freezer while traveling won't acquire a lot of space in terms of weight. Advantages of the freezer is if Alaskan igloo like us, like you, wants to travel or go to place in using of walking, they can slide it all away or a lot easier for it to drop. Therefore, freezers are beneficial, especially for your health and for survival. So buy freezers.